All right,
Microphone muted.
welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vanity Overwatch League. I'm AJS0, joined here with my boy DK Thrifty. Senpai, how you doing?
Doing great, Swift. How about yourself?
Doing better, because my team is getting ready to see somebody in the finals. And it could be one of these two teams. We don't know yet. That part of the script has not been written.
The prophecy is still going on.
Yeah, going strong. So we're just blowing through map bans real fast. Don't expect to say anything too crazy. It's game one.
No, yeah. Nothing ever like too wild ever game one. I'm always much more interested to see like what teams ban for their 4 bans after winning a map.
Yeah. So this is a match I'm suddenly a bit more interested in because I know that Lenny Face is feeling pretty down, kind of like their season's probably over. But sorry, one sec. We have to get Zed to invite you. I don't think I can add people.
No worries.
Well, let's find out. I still don't know shit about how custom games work in Overwatch.
Yeah, I don't either, but it's an
All right,
adventure.
Yeah,
it
we're
looks
in
like
a group, and wow, look at that.
Oh, I need to be going over here. Spectator. I don't even know how this thing works. But
that you have to get moved by Zed.
That's what I thought. But that's fine. I am here and see what's going on at least. So, in a good situation. What kind of map do you think we're going to start this night off on?
I think I got to go with the Baddie Overwatch League standard and say it's going to be King of the Hill because it's always King of the Hill.
That's definitely one of the more common ones. Yeah, a lot of teams do like playing King of the Hill.
Yeah, a lot of teams also kind of scared to change it up.
Yeah, that too. Definitely is a big portion of it.
But back to the point I was going to make before I got distracted by inviting people to games. So, Lenny Face, I know they're not in a great place. Obviously, their record's not been great. But Very Aggressive Genji has lost 9 straight maps.
Yeah.
Lenny Face definitely is still in the running, I think.
Yeah. If I remember right, though, 2 teams don't make it.
No, it's just the last place team that doesn't make playoffs.
Oh, really?
Yep, top 4 make it. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have 5 teams, not 6. Yeah, then they totally have a really good shot at making it into this.
Yeah, if they can just take a few maps, which I believe they are either 3 or 4 maps back. So I mean, it's not gonna be
but
easy.
They still play Very Aggressive Genji, which is an important week. Because like if you win 3 on there, like that's not even. I mean, like any maps they pick up tonight, they're gaining on them because Very Aggressive Genji didn't win any, and then because they also play against them, like if you go 3-0 against them, that's all of a sudden a very possible run.
I just sent my boy Caden Oldenburg some words of encouragement. He needs them. He is a negative fucking Nancy. So anyone that's in Overwatch right now, maybe just send him a whisper saying like, "Hey, I believe in you. You guys can still do it." But don't do it after this map starts. So we're gonna start things here on Lijiang Tower because these guys know I have stuff to get done before work tonight, and they want to make sure I don't have much time to do it.
Yeah, King of the Hill definitely takes a lot longer than any of the other ones, especially when they go to the full 5.
Yeah, I enjoyed the half-hour Lijiang map last week.
Yeah. I would say that's definitely the one weird thing that makes it a little bit more difficult to plan around on BOL than other baddie leagues. You get some of those situations where it's like, oh yeah, we're done in 45 minutes with 3 maps, and then other times it's solid hour 45, and you're just wrapping things up.
I don't know, man. When I had to ask to go in late to work because I was going to cast the best of 5 in League of Legends that could take anywhere from 2 hours to 6.5,
Yeah, yeah. So
I know that's a little harder to prepare for.
Oh yeah, no, that is definitely harder. I'm talking about regular league nights. When you get to the best of 5, then you get, you know, massive amounts of variance.
But fortunately, we don't play that shitty esport anymore.
Is Overwatch actually an esport, Swift?
Are we playing it competitively?
There you go. Fight Blizzard's best efforts. Overwatch is an esport.
Hey, they really dropped some of their best efforts today, but we'll worry about that later as we see 30 and friends going for a really long wraparound as Jim is just the distraction here on the front line. And now his entire team coming forward on the flank. Jim charges in, but Scotch goes down really early. Good damage coming out of Tree to start this one off. This is a crazy engage from 30 and friends, but I don't know if it's going to work as they look very far away from that point.
Their Tree's just doing so much damage here, rocket after rocket.
Yeah, looking like 2 more picks for the Lenny face, and that's Evelite. That's going to be it. So
I really liked the idea. That was really amusing to me, but it just did not work out well.
Anyway, that's the start of King of the Hill sometimes. Now, 30 is still very deep. He is drawing a lot of attention, at least making sure his teammates don't get spawn camped.
Yeah.
As they are all rushing out of the point if they know it's good for them. This is looking like it might work good.
Yeah.
Stony Baloney. As Evelite's up in the air. He's taking a lot of damage, though, actually. Yeah, Evelite goes down to a Cruise Master on the Diva. Ugh, rough.
Sometimes you just gotta get gunned down, sometimes you're gun and run down. But starting to see some ults coming out here. We just saw the Lucio ult. See the Soldier ult from 30 here, picking up Tree.
That might be the pick they need, but they're losing bodies to go with it.
And it's looking like it's gonna be not enough once again, though. BOL and Sexy just dropping people left and right here. We're gonna see an opposing Lucio ult, though, coming out the match.
That was a really bad Lucio ult. That fight was already lost.
Yeah, no, that is not what you want to see. And it looks like it's just gonna actually bait his team in, because Tree's gonna go down late here. Tree Meister, not Tree.
That's awful. Somebody buy that boy a name change.
There's
and
Tree Meister is a fake Tree. That's what we're gonna call him.
with a pretty bad pick there, so there's still gonna be time for one more fight here. But
yeah,
there's really not a whole lot to work with on the side of Winstoni Baloney.
They do have 3 ults. They have the Hera and the Hammer down.
I missed that fair ult. So yeah, they do actually have the big combo.
Yeah, they have a pretty good. They have like a pretty good combo here. They do have a Mercy Race as well for Temple.
They
but
gotta be careful. 4
ults. 4 ults coming from the other side.
Yeah, Failed Destiny does have his counter residable. Sexy goes down early, but he does drop the grab down. But
we're gonna get a really big raise.
There is no big raise.
Oh no, she's dead.
You're right. Like always. And that should be 100-0 map 1. Evelite gonna try to make play of the year, not gonna find it. And that is 100-0 in favor of Lenny Face to start things off, as 30 just barely doesn't touch the
Nice. Really, really well played by Lenny Face there. That was clean. Clean by them, and some silly mistakes that they, from Sony Baloney, that they just capitalized on perfectly.
Yeah, that was a weird round out of Winstoni Baloney. I mean, it's only one round of King of the Hill, so you can't draw crazy conclusions or anything, but they're normally just such good grinders that they always manage to cap a point at some point, it feels like. So it was really surprising to see them never really come close to capping that point. Every engage looked like it wasn't turned into much, so
yeah,
we'll make sure Lenny Face does that more than once before we start to say anything conclusive.
Oh yeah, no, totally. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things. I mean, first game of the night, gotta, get reused to coordination, and also just sometimes certain maps work better for certain teams, like even though there's that 3-3, maybe when Stony Baloney really likes this one and the Gardens.
Alright, so Jim charging to start things off for Winstoni Baloney, turning his tail but not getting caught for it. As, Failed and Sexy both go down early. Yeah, this is looking like a really good fight with Winstoni Baloney just pressing this line forward. They're going to give up their Ana, but that is not going to be enough to change things as they nearly get the team kill in this first fight.
Yeah, that
just like that.
Yep. Oh,
half gonna the last boop.
Yep. We see Winstoni Bologna turn the tides, getting a strong start, and they're now getting set up, trying to hold the enemy team at the doors here.
Yeah, really nice push out of them. Good comp for the push. Oh, Scotch maybe has vision. Yeah, he's gonna jump the hell out of there. He did not like where he was for good reason. And Winstoni Bologna, they're playing with some respect. They're slowly falling back to the point, but they were able to buy some good time here.
Yeah, no. I mean, just slowing them down for a little bit there. If you don't lose anyone, that's a free, like, extra, like, 4 or 5% before they can get set up at all. So...
Yeah, Tree Destiny putting down some pressure on the side while the rest of the Lenny face coming in this front door. And it looks like they are committed to taking this fight. Gonna get left, but nothing happens of it as Jim gets this charge on the Cruise Mister. And now 30 dropping the high noon, but does not find anything out the back door. Scotch is down though, so that will not be a res available for Winstoni. That's actually both healers down for Winstoni. Jim gets a hammer down on it too, though. He's gonna take a kill, so that's both reses off the map. As Jim's putting down an ass ton of damage, but
whoa.
Yeah, looking like it's going to be a clean fight for Winstoni.
There was no escape from that D.Va Pharaoh ult combo. You say the room got blasted by D.Va, you walked out right into the Pharaoh rockets. Good combination there from the two of them.
Pretty decent for Winstoni as well, because they've still got both the support ults available. We are close to a lot of ults on the side of Lenny face, though, so we'll see if they can use them. They are 10% from big grab Pharaoh combo, but oh, Tree gets picked! He will not make it back in time for the last fight of the game.
That is really rough. That is one of your big ults here. Oh, we get the solo raise.
They needed that.
I like that. I think that was definitely the right call.
There's 30 coming in the back. He's going to get 2. That's Tree down again. What is it? 2 for 2 to immediately start this fight. But Scotch does have the res available. Looking good for Winstoni, as they're up 6v3 right now. Just like that, 1-1. Man, I feel like we're so spoiled by all these 199 games that it just feels so weird to see 200 zeros.
Yeah, this is like very polarizing so far. So, and Winstoni Bologna answers back with a clean 100-0. So this map, I mean, this one's the one where they get the 199 win, right? One of the teams. That's only reasonable.
This map is always close, so that would not surprise me.
Yeah. I would say, I don't think I've seen a BOL game on this particular map that has been, like, remotely even close to a blowout on one side or the other. It has always been, like, all the way down to the wire the last second. Oh! Get the bounce off. Tree finding that Ana on the bridge.
Yeah, Tree in particular has always been excellent on this map, so let's see if he can maybe drag his team back into this one off of that good start.
That is a great start. Like, that is just a clean pick. Doesn't have a chance for the Ana to get anything done.
Yeah, and that was 30 down as well.
Yeah, oh, good start for Lenny face. I just noticed that Lenny face is also running Roadhog. Nice what they... Oh! Oh! Gotch is barely gonna survive. If that was any other hero, really, it would have been another one down to Tree's boops.
Bad guys.
Yeah, Sexy was always a big-time Roadhog player, so I think people are, you know, upset about the new Roadhog, but started to have warmed up to it. And Lenny face, you know, I don't blame them for thinking they need to change something with how their season's going.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt.
And yeah, he stops Jim out of his charge right there.
He's getting some nice hooks here. But High Noon coming through from 30. That's not going to find anyone at all.
Heroes never die.
Yeah, this is a few bodies dropping for Lenny face, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
Oh,
Mister picking up Sexy with the D-bolt there. That maybe has turned into something.
Yeah.
And Scotch
Ball.
Scotch never like maybe pop ults after that fight had already been won, but regardless, cap for Winstoni.
Yeah, Sexy tried to hook and kill the baby D.Va there and got caught on the edge and just trying to do too much.
That's unlucky.
Tactical visor ready for deployment.
Alright, so we see the good old-fashioned go left side play coming out of Lenny face here. Jim just holding down the front gate. There we go. They're going to come in behind this D-Ball. I don't think they even know the D-Ball actually does find Scotch yet again. And this is looking great.
That is
for Lenny
real
face.
clean.
Yeah, super sexy play out of them to ride that Diva ult and just wipe them off the floor in the chaos. They still do have Tree's ult available and they're close on a res as well.
Yeah.
But
And
the ult economy is real high for Winstoni.
yeah, no, they have 4 very quickly approaching 5, and that Mercy ult is not very far off either. It'll be interesting to see what's going to come from this.
Yeah, that was Baby
They do
Diva,
need to-
so he is a little further, but looks
Yeah.
like the fight started. Jim drops a nice hammer, but Tree's got the counter barrage. You can't just push into that. He only gets the mech, but he buys a lot of time here as they take out Tree Meister. Then Tree goes down early. Scotch going to go for the res onto the Diva, as we still see a lot of members of both. He gets res that died in record time there.
Oh man, lots of bodies left on this point, but it is not looking good for Winstoni Baloney. 30 and Evil Light against the world. And that is gonna be it.
Yeah, 2-0 for Lenny face. We saw
2-1.
Or sorry, yeah, 2. Yes. So we saw some signs of resistance finally.
Yeah.
Within a game.
But even then, that was still a really solid performance out of Lenny face there. Looked good. But the way the maps are, it is back to Market, where we saw Winstoni 100-0 them. So we'll see if this one.
Yeah, that's always so rough when you're up 2-1 and you're like, don't give us the map we lost. Don't give us the map we lost.
Yeah,
And the Overwatch gods
especially.
always give you the
I was
map
gonna say,
you
because it's
lost.
like, it's, you know, if you don't get the map you lost, it's like, all right, perfect, we won one of these two. But it's even worse because you lost 100-0 on this map the last time.
Yeah, so maybe the Roadhog is the difference they needed. We'll see. It was doing some work in that last map. Doing that really embarrassing kill onto Tree Meister immediately after beating Raz. And speaking of embarrassing Tree Meister, he gets hooked right away to start this. Crew's playing nice and aggro, kind of breaking the lines of Lenny face.
Yeah. We do see Lenny face getting the control onto the back at this point, though, as it's starting up. Nice sleep coming down onto Cruise Master. Jim's in the back lines, though, swinging away with that hammer. Meanwhile, Scotch finds herself in the middle of the room, getting kicked out by Cruz. Lots of people going down. Ball Sexy with the hook onto Tree. Tree wrapping up and killing the inferior Tree. Evil Light trying to do what he can, but that's going to be the point. Nice hook.
Looked like Winstoni wanted to fall back there, but they had people that were just too far into no man's land to get out. So they give a few late kills there.
Yeah. No, that's really rough, just because like the entire team was back by the time Evil Light died there, so they're coming into this next fight 5v6.
Alright, 30 looking in the front door, but has not been fighting much with these ults all night as the Diva ult gets pulled off of the map. Nice play from Ball Sexy as he was dying there.
Yeah, no, definitely a nice sacrifice play there, and they're also just going to get all raised right back up.
Jim gonna whip the hammer. That's a rarity out of him as he is still trying to stall on this point. This is starting to look like it might be a good fight. Is Nano Evolite coming in? Scotch with
No,
the
that's
two-man
Nano
rest on his
Scotch.
DPS.
That Nano was meant for Jim, but it goes on to the Scotch. We get the Battle Mercy rolling up, but it is going to be enough. And we see Winstoni cap it back.
Dude, I had a nice moment the other day where I got Nano Mercied, and it turned into a big play for our team. So maybe Nano Mercy is something the team's got to start exploring.
Sometimes
And
you just
when
got to whip out the pistol. Go Battle Mercy.
If you've got the best Mercy in the league, sometimes you can try plays like that.
God.
As half and half gets hooked but does not get killed. Right?
Oh,
2.0.
Yep. This ball sexy makes place at the Roadhog, showing he may be gimped, but he's definitely not dead.
Yeah, Sexy still, he's clearly been putting out the DPS in these fights. As by the way, Treemeister is also playing Roadhog. He switched off the Diva, so we're back to the BOL, folks. Roadhog's on every team, as Cruisemaster chucks in the Diva ult, but doesn't find anything. Does get a C-Mod on the point, as Jim goes down really early. Avalite going for the flank barrage, but most of it gets 8, and there wasn't really anyone there to hit.
Yeah, no. This fight's wrapping up. Oh, Tree coming out with another barrage. Ray's bringing back half and half, and looking really good once again. That's a cap. Like
54-54 as of the point of the cap. Definitely not a repeat of the first time we were on this point.
This is good and good. After those first 2 games, these have been a lot nicer.
Yeah, sometimes that's how King of the Hill starts. You're just kind of feeling each other out.
Definitely making for some fun Overwatch 2 watch. Doom Shield definitely starting to get a little damage there. He's going to hide off on the side. Looking to try and force their way into here, as we're starting to get very close to the end of this round, possibly. What the?
Oh, no.
What happened where?
Jim got booped as he was mid-charge, so he took half and half with him, but he does force a trade there.
But we have the Roadhog coming from the side, but it's not going to be enough. He gets gunned down in the middle of it. Ball's next, he's going to get raised back up. Nano Boost coming down onto Evilite. He's trying to make a lot of plays here. Scotch is going to get back his own Roadhog.
Tree looking for some damage up in the air, but not going to find it. As the self-destruct from Crew is going to pick off the Treemeister, and that might be enough to turn the tides of this fight. Jim goes down, and that's it. 3-1. Tree, the non-believer, tells me his team cannot start winning maps. I say to you, yes you can, motherfucker. And looking like, speaking of the devil, play of the game gonna be going over to Tree on the Pharah. I mean, who else?
Yep, finds Scotch Knot right around the edge, goes around, finds Treemaster, drops the ult, murders him, goes down. Gonna pick up 30 as well, right on the tail end of that ult, making for a clean triple.
And that ultimately was the game-winning fight, because they didn't lose the point again, so...
Yeah.
Excellent night out of Tree so far, and not something we would have expected him to have so much effect on Pharah when he's going up against 30. Normally 30 is enough.
Yeah, 30 definitely being a strong player, but we saw Lenny face, besides that little hiccup on the second map, looking really, really strong throughout that King of the Hill maps. Do you think we'll see another King of the Hill map tonight?
I don't know. I don't think Winstoni, or sorry, Lenny Fest is the bats. I don't think Winstoni Baloney's gonna pick King of the Hill. I think 30 is content to go for something more structured.
Yeah,
but
no, that definitely makes sense, especially because from what I could tell from Winstoni, it was Lijiang Tower was definitely one of their preferred neutral point objectives. Neutral points.
Yeah, I would not expect them to go back to the map type if they don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's fine. That's the great thing about Overwatch. You play a bad map, you just switch game modes.
Yeah, no. With 4 bans, you can pretty much control. You can, if you really want to, you can just block an entire game type. I don't think any game type has more than 4 maps.
Correct.
So.
For now.
Yeah,
for
now.
So the ban's gonna be Anubis, Lunar Colony,
Hanamura,
Volskaya, and Hanamura.
Yep.
So I'm expecting something with a cart coming out of Winstoni Baloney here.
It's time to move the payload.
That's good. Play Overwatch like a gentleman. Have a cart.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a cart to toss your team on. Makes it easier to push them all.
Alright, they're gonna just say, fuck all the analysis
King
we've been doing. Give us Nepal.
Alright.
Maybe the roughest King of the Hill map for Pharah. So maybe, I'm guessing that's the thought process coming out of 30 and Friends here. Man, I guess stop calling that Team 30 and friends, but I'm not going to. So I apologize to the Yan friends. Jim's very good at Overwatch too.
Traveling to Nepal.
But we are going to hop into Nepal here, so we'll see if it goes a little bit better for Winstoni or if the Lenny face can get their first winning night of the season, I would believe. You know, I try to keep records up when I'm casting, and I forgot to do that this week. So, but I'm fairly certain Lenny Face's best weeks have been 1-2s. So, maybe they change that, maybe they don't. But we do see a drastically different comp being hovered by Lenny Face to start here. Not content to just keep doing what was working. And I don't blame them. This is a pretty tough map for fair. You got to be pretty exposed. Although you do have the boop potential.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of knockoff potential on this map. Yet the entire
Tree's saying
half
fuck that anyways. And he's starting off on the Junkrat, so it's going to be the Junkrat-Orisa combo coming out of Lenny Face.
Huh. I mean, we've definitely seen Tree have a lot of success on Junkrat throughout all the BOL seasons, and just from playing in general with him.
Yeah, he's good. If he says I'm going to play Junkrat, like, I don't second guess that myself.
No, I assume that he's got a plan for it. Because he's also not the kind of person to just force a pick into things.
Yeah, we've got that, and then also Jim going to be switching off of Reinhardt for the first time tonight onto the Winston. And typical Orisa going to be the first pick of the fight here. But Tree going to go down pretty fast to follow. Rogue Mallard, 1v6 on the point is the Lucio. I don't think that's how that play was drawn up in the book. But there should be a first cap for Winstoni Baloney.
Yep. Dominant, quick fight from there. Nothing too crazy, but they got a nice, quick little few picks there, and were able to capitalize on it. Now on to see if Lenny Face is able to push their way into it. Strong left side push.
Didn't have anyone
Winstoni
holding the far side, so
yeah.
Lenny Face is gonna make it in. It was just low as the tag visor coming out of 30. Ooh, man, just shredding through Lenny Face.
Yeah, he cuts down both the healers there.
That was a fast 5 kills.
Yeah, that was real fast. And we still see, like, pretty equitable ult economy between both these teams.
Yeah, both reses available. Not that I'm expecting anything too game-changing.
Definitely not expecting it, but it can happen. Times used to be right place, right time.
Alright, so Rogue Mallard dropping the early Lucio ult. Avalite gonna be a first pick here. Gonna immediately take the res from Scotch, who was sick of dying with it up. So we've still got a 6v6 on the points.
Unfortunately, there's a barely off-timer tire there. Tried to pick off the people being rezzed. Hit them right before, though, while they're invulnerable.
Treemeister chucks the Diva suit up but doesn't find anything as Tree finally going down. Gonna be immediately res by Failed. As this is looking like the all or nothing push out of Lenny Face, and I don't know if they're finding anything. There's some boop kills coming out of Jimbo the man there. And yeah, Winstoni mopping up to close this one out.
Yeah. Treemeister saying, get off this point. Doing a good old little body slam in there. And clean start for Winstoni Baloney.
Yeah, they looked very in control there. They knew what they wanted to be doing at all times, and they did it.
Yeah. Something to know is, like, that map in particular, at least in my experience recently, is a really tough point to recap. Like, it's definitely an easier control point to defend than some of the other ones.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Let's say, could be totally wrong, but that just, like, from my personal experience, that definitely seems how it has been. Like, whichever team is holding it definitely has an easier time holding on to it than other points, especially Village and Temple.
Alright, so we do see a switch up coming here. Tree going back to the Pharah, and Failed playing May for, I believe, the first time tonight.
Yeah. May is pretty solid on this particular map.
That makes sense.
definitely-
It's cold in Nepal.
Yeah. Got that home field advantage.
You can't farm with that. Oh, Rogue gets picked off by Winston to start.
Yeah,
Winstoni
looks
dropping the baloney onto Rogue.
Fail Destiny find himself in a real hot spot. He gets the ice block, but he is still in a bad neighborhood.
And once again, clean start from 30 and friends.
Yeah. Oh, and Sony Blaney get that clean start, but this fight is far from over. We still have quite a few members of Lenny face here, and Scotch is going to go down here, picked up by Rogue Mallard. Jim following suit. Dreammeister finding himself in a real bad position. This is looking like we might see the counter cap.
I wasn't even following how the lines collapsed from Winstoni Baloney, but suddenly they were entirely collapsed, and then they gave up picks really fast.
Yeah.
That was a strange play.
Yeah. I mean, when they won that fight, they only actually killed 2 members of Lenny face, and so they just kind of got back and they just came in for the fight and took him down.
Alright, as Failed is pulling the Destiny. No, he's going to slide his way out of there. As Tagmiser are coming out of 30.
Oh! Ball 60
nice.
says no, though.
That was a ball of sexy indeed. As both of the DPS are down, they are going to get rezzed during the Transcendence here, so looking like an all-in play coming out. But
Yeah,
Amalek,
lots of ults dropping for both sides.
well, this is a 5v6 in favor of Winstoni right now.
Oh, no!
Gonna equalize it, but a nice ult out of Treemeister gets to Cruz, gets Treemeister though. As I think this ultimately does turn into a Winstoni cap.
Yeah, that was an explosive fight to say the least. Ults chucked left and right. Neither team has an ult left in the tank. But Failed Destiny getting close to that May Blizzard coming in soon.
Push in coming out of Lenny face, who are very content to play this outside of the points.
Yep.
As
Oh,
Failed
here comes
Destiny-
the Blizzard.
Yeah, capitalizes on the position. He's able to drop a fairly deep Blizzard. And oh man, this was just not a good hold out of Winstoni Baloney. They were forced so far back. I feel like trying to put some damage down on the back line, but he does not have an ult available. Actually, he does have an ult available. He jumps in there and drops it. And somehow, after collapsing entirely, there is just a total retake before they actually lose the point out of Winstoni Baloney there.
Yeah. Lenny Face seemed a little they weren't all on the same page on the push off to that Blizzard. Jim find himself in a real awkward situation. Might get iced. Yeah, and he's gonna go down, getting picked. Not where you want to be here.
That is a Christmas present straight to Lenny faces. They now get a 6v5 to go for this retake in the last fight they had.
And not a moment too soon. Once again, we see another tank getting iced.
Yeah, Trans comes down as Tree drops the rocket barrage on the side. He only gets 1, but that 1 is 30 as he trades his line. But Scotch does bring 30 back onto the map. Half and Half does have the res available, but and yep, he is going to use on Tree. So both the star DPS players back up as Rogue Mallard going down here. Wily Coyote as well.
Oh, Destruct comes out. It's not going to get anyone. However, we have a Raging Monkey in the room. Treemeister now dropping his, and is going to... Oh, no, it didn't actually find anyone.
Avalite gets 1 with his barrage, but then the rest gets eaten as it is just Cruise Master on this point, 1v2, trying to stall, trying to get teammates here. He's gonna lose the match,
Rogue
but he
Mallard's
does
getting
get...
in, though.
How
Rogue
much
Mallard
time can one Lucio buy?
bursts
He
the
has
wall.
teammates close. Does not drop the beat. Oh, that beat would have bought time for Failed Destiny to get onto the point. And we all know once May's on the point, it's over.
Yeah, no, especially when you have like an area where you can just make a solid corner. You can put the wall up, you get like 4 seconds off the wall, then you ice block, and you get 3 seconds from the ice block. Next thing you know, freaking the entire team's back on the point, and you hate your life.
This guy Maze.
Try not to get yourselves killed out there.
But instead of that, we get a 2-0 lead for Winstoni Baloney. So after all that talk about how we didn't think they're going to go back to King of the Hill,
They chose King of the Hill, and they are striking back with a vengeance. Very dominant games both times.
The name's McCree.
The first game definitely more so, but now we get the shrine. Let's see how this one plays out. Half and half phone real low at the start, but he's gonna get topped right back off. BOL Sexy finding the mech.
Yeah, Sexy has been putting in the work.
Yeah.
As that turns into a first pick here, Baby Diva cannot survive long, but ooh, speaking of putting in the work, gets taken out of work, calling in a sick day, I guess, by Jimbo the man. As this is 5v4 in favor of Winstoni.
Yep, and we are seeing people from Lenny Face going down slowly one after the other. It looks like it is all but inevitable that Winstoni Bologna will cap this point.
Yep, there we go. Finally happens.
Yep.
So, good start again for Winstoni Bologna is there. Also sitting in a really good ult economy place. They got a lot of charge. Oh, I guess Lenny Face isn't that far away from a lot of ults either.
Yeah, they have like 4 ults that are all within 25%. So
this could be a very explosive fight as we see the far side play coming. Ooh, half and half gets found by 30. That's rough. And Winstoni making the smart play. They are diving forward here as they pull out the rocket barrage. They're playing this very aggressively, but Evelite goes down mid barrage, gets rezzed by Scotch. So this is ult being blown in a 6v5 that they're not decisively winning.
yeah, no, definitely still a long way to go for this fight. We still have a lot of ults coming up for Lenny Face as they're trying to make their push on to get their first cap of this set. Not the set, this map. And interesting Transcendence.
Yeah, maybe some guys that were critical we didn't notice is 30 looking for the deep play. Gotta find BOL Sexy. And Rogue as well, so that's 2 picks. That should be a hold here. And yeah, they get 2 more while they're at it. Nice push forward coming out of Winstoni.
Yep, they're gonna run down the remaining members. They're gonna find Cruz here as well.
Yeah, and this is probably putting them in a position where there's only 1 fight left.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not looking good for Lenny Face here.
Oh, Avalite with the huge pick onto
the
Tree.
Discord orb plus Zenyatta hit. 1 direct hit, that will finish you off.
Oh, with a really aggressive high nuke. No, that's 30 and Avalite down. This could be
he's gonna punish for it.
For Lenny Face, and his BOL Sexy dropping his whole hog
lots
all
of
over
balls
this
coming out. But looks like Rocket Barrage from Tree is going to wrap up that Diva mech, and Lenny Face is going to get the cap back. They got to do the full 100 though.
Yeah,
if they can do it in one smooth stretch.
Winstoni Bologna were punished for their hubris there, and it turns into
they
a
were being very aggressive there.
And now, so they've got 30 playing on the T-Racer. I think, just trying to get back to that point maybe for the last fight, but 30's obviously a pretty good Tracer, so he can justify making that switch.
Yeah.
As Jimbo starting a nice ult coming out, Avalite gets 2 real fast, including Tree. And Failed Destiny's res off the map now. Jim dropping the monkey mode.
Yeah, that is not looking good for Lenny Face. They lost the 2 members they really did not want to lose.
They do get the kill onto Scotch and half
but it is just BOL Sexy and Tree left. Oh, but Destiny gets back in time to get the 2-man raise. They're hanging in there. Pulse Bomb comes out on a BOL Sexy to pick him off. Cruisemaster getting knocked out of the mech. Now it's half and half against the world, trying to keep this from capping. But they're going to see this cap go on over and very quickly burn down that overtime.
And that's it. 3-0 in favor of Winstoni Bologna. Much better than Li Jiang went for them.
Yeah. No, they struck back hard.
So play of the game gonna be consolation prize going over to Tree on the Pharah. And not even gonna be an ult. Just him casually shooting guys that are close to him.
Oh, the knockoff.
Yeah, that's nice. I can respect that. Ooh, it finishes it off with another one. That was okay, I guess.
Yeah, not bad. Fresh off a res, clean up 3 people. Not a bad spot to be in.
Alright, so we got things tied up at 1-1 going into map 3 here, so we'll see what Winstoni Baloney wants to take off the table, where Lenny Face wants to go with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely very curious to see what they chose. They obviously had a lot of success on Li Zhang, but Nepal not as much. Seems like either Winstoni just got it all together. All 2 cheese pizzas.
Wait. Did
Neither
Lenny
of these
Face
teams.
ban last map or last game? Okay, I'm so out of it with map bans law.
They banned.
We're good. We're good. They banned
Yep.
the 2 CPs, yeah. So
Yep, same as last time.
both these teams taking the 2 CPs out. I can respect the gentleman's agreement.
Yeah, clearly saying no thanks. We don't want to play any of that. The question is if we're gonna see some payload or just sticking to King of the Hill to duke it out for all 3 of the games tonight.
Yeah, I'd really like to see some Oasis to round this out. That'd be better than the gentleman's agreement to play Samba versus Hanzo.
Oh god.
And yeah, we are going
Ilios.
Ilios. So
All
the
right.
relaunch King of the Hill map's gonna be how we close things out tonight.
Yeah, and they're probably my favorite of the King of the Hill maps. So I am definitely down to have this be our last match of the night.
Now arriving at Ilios.
So I gonna make a bold prediction here. We're gonna see a lot of Pharah on Ilios.
Oh yeah.
Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
I would be surprised if we didn't.
Same.
Weeb Lords are Mexican banditos.
Who are the Weeb Lords and who are the Mexican Banditos?
I don't know. My guess is he was referring. Huh? How did that go? I wasn't there for when we did that. When
Hanzo's versus Sombros was very interesting. There was an evolving metagame over the course of the night. I feel like there's really a lot of depth that can still be fleshed out. But that's a discussion for another day, as we've got both these teams jumping on the point, led by their monkeys. Cruzmaster on the Winston, that's I think we don't see him on that super often, but something Nutrition has been able to play as Jim picks off Rogue Mallard super early here.
yeah, and Tree going down as well. Looking strong for Winstoni Baloney.
Yeah, it does turn into their cap.
Wily Coyote getting very aggressive there. But it's working.
Need a doctor. This will protect us.
Let me get you patched up.
People going far off a tree there. We're going to see the rest of his team going in to try and see if they can get it, but we're going to see Cruz go down real quick early. Ball of Sexy gets booped off, but the 2 people otherwise are going to raise by Failed Destiny. 30's going to get the Deadeye as he gets knocked off midair. Incoming Rocket Barrage, though, from Evilite's going to wrap up both the healers here. And once again, we're going to see a fight going over to Winstoni Baloney.
Yeah, resources committed on the late side of that fight don't pay off for Lenny Face there, as they are now fairly dry on ult economy as they look into the closing out of this map.
That's definitely not a place you want to be. You don't have any fuel in the tank, and you are in the middle of nowhere.
That's no bueno.
That is what they say. On the other hand, ult economy looking really solid from Winstoni BOL. They got 3 up, default coming up real shortly as well.
Ooh, she goes down. That was a real costly pick.
Just like how the yawn at the end, just so casual. Oh man, no big deal.
And the Failed Destiny pick may be even worse because he now will not make it onto this point until the last fight is halfway through, as the beats are all dropped. This is 2 dubstep for me. Cruisemaster was down before that shield went out. As Tree trying to get someone with the Rocket Barrage, but he only finds 1. He does find Tree Master though. This is a 4v4 as now Failed Destiny has made it to the point, but Scotch does get the res. This is now back in favor of Winstoni as BOL sexy trying to make something happen with his whole hog, but it's not whole enough here. As Tree dropping Rocket Barrage, sorry, Everlight dropping Rocket Barrage, and that's going to be enough.
Everlight brand Rocket Barrage. Another 100-0. It seems like whatever was going on with Winstoni Baloney that first set, they have worked out all the kinks.
Yes.
And they are just chugging along.
And at least we are, if you are rooting for Lenny Face, onto the Lenny Face secret weapon, Cruisemaster Orisa at the well.
Yeah. Actually, something fun I just noticed about their team is they have 4 people who can push people into the well on their team.
Yes.
This is the well murder comp.
Soldier 76 reporting for duty.
And 30 going on to the Tracer. That's seems to be a pick he's really shy towards on this map. So no hit scan for Tree.
Yeah, no, this is definitely somewhere Tree likes to be. And, oh, Cruisemaster almost claims his first victim, but instead BOL Sexy is gonna grab up Jim. Oh.
Yeah, these boops tossing Lucio all over.
Yeah. Close,
not
but
quite
no
down.
He is a quick man. He is tough to get into that hole. But this lack of hit scan definitely seeming to be very nice for Tree as he's flying all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen Tree's health drop below like 70% yet.
Yeah. Oh, the tag onto Orisa though is gonna put her down, which may be enough to see.
Yeah.
When Sony
Tree
Baloney
finally goes down on the points.
Yep. Yeah, no, we've seen 30 have a lot of success with the Tracer on this map. Always had a good time darting in and out. Pretty solid pulse bombs.
Occasionally gets traded with enemy mercies, but
Yeah.
you know,
Occasionally,
you can't win them all.
warps back into the hole, but
Yeah.
you know, it happens to the best of us.
Quite literally.
Yeah.
As looks like the fight engaged here is BOL Sexy dropping the hog from the side. But failed gonna equalize this fight, so this is now definitively in favor of Lenny Face. By the way, Tree has switched onto the McCree.
Yep.
As Everlight though, he is gonna take out 3 there.
Yeah, lots of damage, lots of success here. Lenny Face just, they're trying the best they can, but they are just not able to stick a cap here.
Enemies detected.
Yeah, some nice late picks here. 30 gets the pulse bomb into a double. As we're once again looking at a situation, probably 1 fight remaining here for Lenny Face.
Yeah.
They do have some ults available and some more that are close, but there's a lot to counter with coming out of Winstoni Baloney as well.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna see a very angry monkey in the backline, splitting them all up. He's going all over the place, and Rogue Mauer's gonna find himself in a real awkward situation from it. Arista also going to come down, try to give the team the damage boost it needs. Tree's going to find himself a Lucio. 30 meanwhile darting in and out all over the place. We're going to have Treemeister with the Diva ult right there, but it is not going to find anything. But Scotch is going to bring back both Treemeister and Wile E. Coyote. But boop, down you go. But he's going to surf his way back up. Lots of people going down. Once again, it looks like, oh, we got a nice raise to bring back 2 people. Giving some hope
Could be
back
what they needed
to...
is Jim. Oh, barely makes it out of the
Oh
hole.
my goodness. Barely out of the hole, but out of the oven into the frying pan. Down you go. And Lennyface actually might be able to turn this one around. Lots of success here.
Yeah, they've got the priority targets down.
Oh, these hooks over and over again, just putting people right on the edge. Tree finding Scotch, picking him up, denying him the possibility of a res here as his teammates are starting to go down.
This has been some really good stalling, though, as Jim is now here if he chooses to contest.
Yeah, Evilite decides to get behind, gets to 30 now, waiting for his team to come up. Down he goes, but Wile E. Coyote and Jim are going to have to fight off Ball is Sexy here. As he's going to try and buy as much time as we can, but we have a very angry monkey to push him off.
Wow. That was such a nice stall. With Jim and 30 down, the rest of Winstoni Baloney does not falter. And they buy what felt like, what was forever in
That was
Overwatch terms.
that was a long last fight.
Yeah, it gave 30 time to come back and die. But it was what they needed, and they closed that one out, 100-0. Man, and we thought that Winstoni Baloney shouldn't play King of the Hill.
Yeah. Proved us wrong, that's for sure.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
And now they're looking for the clean 3-0. Did they 3-0 on the last one, or is it 3-1?
It was 3-1,
Okay.
I think. It might have been 3-0, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
But,
cannot
But that's what
remember.
it was. We got 1-for-1s going down so far, but 30 is the one down for Winstoni. But despite that, they look like they're the ones putting the pressure forward in this fight, as Evilite still has kind of free reign here.
Yeah. Both Ferris having a lot of free reign just to do whatever the hell they want. Unfortunately, you see picks coming down from once again a very aggressive Winstoni squad. Rogue Mallard finding himself all the way up, right in Rogue Mallard's face.
My ultimate is ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, there are a lot of ults already available here for
Yep.
Winstoni, as Jim goes monkey, gets Rogue knocked right off.
Yep. Sending him off to the sea. Wile E. Coyote, you are very deep yet somehow still alive. I don't even know how he got there. I just look over and he's in the middle of 5 people.
Yeah, Lenny face.
I guess probably a Road Dog hook. Ooh, Evilite coming down, but his Rocket Barrage is going to get eaten up by Cruise Master. Over 30's Tactical Visor's going to find. Scotch is going to get the raise on him. 30's going to pick up another one with the Tac Visor. Lots of people going down on both sides, but Veil Destiny going to bring back 2 of his members. Down goes someone. I don't know who that was that fell off the edge.
Don't worry, I got this. Ultimate ready.
Yeah, just 2 still on this point for Winstoni. Well, they do have Scotch nearby. No res available, so don't worry about watching for that. As
Oh,
the
that
Sacrificer
Diva
coming
ult,
out of
though.
Rogue.
Ooh.
Rogue
They
gets
got out in
2 there
time,
with
but
attack.
they're not able to cap it.
Oh, Wile E. Coyote, he bought so much time there, though. That has gotten Jim back out of this point, and it's gotten 30 close. But I don't think that's enough.
No,
And
we're
just shy of 99, the point cap by Lenny Face.
Yep, 95%. Got a little wiggle room there, but you more or less do need to run this back in one go. And we've seen that happen before. It's definitely not an easy thing to do, but
let's see, looking like the push beginning here for Winstoni, as Wile Coyote is. God,
He is
plays
always
so aggressively. I am falling in love with this tonight.
yeah, he is the most ham-loose show I have seen. Attack Visor coming out for 30, however, it's going to get devoured mostly by Cruise Master. Rocket Barrage coming in. Oh, this self-destruct could be good. And it's going to find Wile E. Coyote and Tree Meister.
Ooh.
Nice res from Scotch, though, picking up 3. That probably will be enough to turn the tides of this fight for his team.
Yeah, that is a lot of Lenny faces down, but Phil Destiny does make it on the point. He gets 2, but it's right after Tree dies. He really could have used that 3rd there.
Yeah, unfortunate timing there. 3rd member of the team would have definitely helped, but sometimes you just don't have any time to make that choice. The team is doing a really solid job of hanging on to theirs. They are racking up a couple more %, but it's not looking good for them. Cruz is the last one on there. Down it goes.
Yeah, trying to get back to this point are Lenny face, but there is no time to get back in time. And Winstoni gonna close out the 3-0. Take the night 2-1. Looking pretty good overall. And play of the match gonna be Avalites on the Farah, who he was making a lot of good plays in these 2 wins.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Ball is actually getting knocked off the edge there. Next up, we see a raise from Failed Destiny. But oh, here we go. Rocket Barrage from behind. Pick up 2 healers. Not a bad play of the game. Kill the healers with the Rocket Barrage. Get a boop off the edge.
Alright, so that's going to do it, guys. So, you know where to find us. We'll see you next week.